Hello, what's up, people? We are back. Your boy, International Walton House, Act 2 the podcast, episode 70 fucking 5. Woo! 75, we in the building. How y'all doing?
75.
75. My man Danny out there would appreciate that.
75.
75. Episode 75. Episodio. Isatia.
70. Y 5.
75.
75.
Episode 75. International Walt in the building.
It's your girl Tosh, the co-hostess with the mostest.
Hope y'all doing well out there. Did you ever put the questions up for last week? Fuck no, because I didn't see them. Well, blame her for that. So, shitty week because she didn't put the questions.
It was a shitty week?
According to this. Shitty week. Just let me get my shit off. Shitty week because she didn't put the questions up to ask y'all what y'all do with y'all kids as far as privacy and things like that. So, I guess you just keep it to yourself. So she don't want to know.
No, we'll circle back. Maybe we'll have like an all-question episode.
Yeah, sure. Whatever justification you have for not doing something that you're supposed to do and care about this show.
Did I do other good things this week? Like for the show?
When we get to that, we can talk about that. But we're specifically on this topic.
Okay.
And this topic is a little shit in the bed. Y'all can catch us at etched.com. Y'all can catch us on Facebook, YouTube, Breaker, Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, TikTok, Radio Public, Instagram, and Twitter. Tweet.
You high?
How are you?
I'm doing great.
No! How are you?
You know my tolerance for noise.
How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing good. I feel like, today I'm a 9. I feel good. I'm a 9.
A 9 for mental?
Yeah, 9
okay.
for mental.
All right.
I feel good. Me and my baby, we in a good space emotionally. That impacts my mental. I feel good mentally. You said we not?
I didn't say anything.
I heard the mumbles.
No, I didn't.
If you got something to say it.
I would say it.
Okay. It's just been a good time. I've been managing things. He mumbling over here, and I'm trying to live in this soft light space, and he wants me to get rough. It's like no, but I'm a 9 for at this moment. Take it moment by moment, day by day. Work is an 8.
Work's
it's
an 8.
busy.
So that was a new wave on the mental.
Yep.
Work's an 8. Ocho.
It's busy, but I'm doing my thing, and it's an 8. Yeah.
What's your finances looking like?
My finances are 10.
Finances always on. What's
Spanish? DS.
See.
No complaints, and I'm good. I don't have any complaints. I put gas in my tank yesterday, and I hear the conversations about gas, but I don't see it that often because I don't go out of the house that much. You typically put gas in my car or whatever. I use your money to put gas in my car. But did you know how much it was?
$106.
Well, $103.
Oh, today mine was 106. That's where I got the 106 from.
$103.
Yeah, I got gas this morning, and I was on 2 dots before I was on E, and it still was 106.13.
My gas light
I got to get 93.
And I get 91. My gas light hadn't come on, but I knew it was like right before that. So I just told him fill it up. Now for me, I know people drive back and forth, whether you're commuting to work or other activities. A full tank of gas, I probably won't need gas for 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks. I rarely go anywhere. And if I do, he's typically driving. So wasn't really, I knew I wouldn't have to do this often, but it's ridiculous. It's really, really ridiculous.
It is bad. Gas prices are terrible. Dude got fired at I think it was a Shell or something like that, but he mistakenly made the gas 69 cents a gallon.
It probably was supposed to be $6.90 or $6.09 or something.
Supposed to move it over, and he made it 69 cents and then canned his ass.
Because you know how much money they lost that day?
Yeah. a lot.
Yeah, depending on how long that it stayed that way.
Yeah, and obviously it's noticeable immediately because you're gonna get a line out there. 69 cents a gallon. Oh shit, what they selling? Water?
Yeah, dang. You know, I did read some tips about how to get the most out of your gas if you maybe want to share them at some point. But
When we go to what we learned.
yeah, that'll be my what I learned. How are you?
Physicality.
Oh, physically, I feel good. I'm gonna say I'm a 7. You know, we got bikes, and I really want to go bike riding. You know, I've been
It's been hot as ball sack.
I know, we just gotta find a way to fit it in. But I really want to go bike ride. Not only that, I just want to I want to going outside. Is just, I don't want to go to the gym because I don't want to wear a mask while working out, but I don't want to work out in the gym without a mask. So that takes the working out and the air out of the equation. Even if it's 85 and humid as heck, who wants to work out in there? But I can't. And then working out in the house for me is just like blah. But we gotta find a way to do something to get moving. But physically, I'm like a 7.5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm good. Mentally, I'm like I would say an 8.
No. How are you?
I'm good. Mentally, I would say I'm an 8. Finances, I would say I am a 9. Try to get through them quick. Work, I would say a 7. I'm actually working with a different project manager, and it's just like he's still green, still first go round.
Okay.
And something that really bothers me about people is being asked the same question more than once.
Give me an example.
Say me and you talk. We have a meeting on Wednesday, and it's like, when are you breaking through this wall to go to the next space? And I say, all right, Tosh, you my PM. Let the people know we're gonna do it 1 week from today.
Okay.
Okay. That's Tuesday, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Oh no, 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay.
First call you get Wednesday morning is, hey, what's up, Walt? How you doing? When we breaking through the wall?
So to me, that's an indication somebody's not paying attention.
Yeah, and it's like, we just talked about this. Like, I don't know how to answer that without being a little like rough around the edges. And then that person is like, oh yeah, but I just want to make sure nothing changed. And it's like, we've been away from each other 12 hours. Sleep. Like, nothing changed.
Yeah. So this is, would you like my advice?
Mm-hmm.
So I experienced, not that per se, but I experienced a situation with a former manager where she was a liar. And like, she would say that she said stuff that she didn't say, or she would say that she didn't say something that she did say, or whatever the situation was. And the approach that I took, every time we would have a meeting or a conversation, you know, whether it was on the phone or, you know, over Skype or in person, this was, you know, pre-COVID, I took the approach and I let her know, following every meeting we have, I will follow up via email to outline what we talked about so that there's no discrepancies. Because you're not going to tell me you didn't say something that I know you said, or vice versa, or you didn't say that I said something, so, or like I didn't tell you something, so that we would follow up that way. Here's the information. If I forgot anything, let me know, or is there anything you want to add? That way it was clear. So maybe after each conversation, you could be like, you know, I'll send you an email or text, whatever is easier, you know, just so that if there's any questions, you know, hey, Joe, whatever his name, whatever, just to follow up on our conversation today, confirming the wall will be knocked down this date, this will happen on this date. If anything changes, I'll let you know.
I understand that, but that's more of like your corporate world, like that's your advice you're giving me, or like office type stuff. And I know, like, after being mad 2 or 3 times, it's like he's just doing a little CYA, just covering his ass, and also just being engaging and asking questions. So,
but that can be annoying.
It is annoying, because it's like, what's the purpose of the meeting? Like, that's the problem. We're having too many meetings. What's the purpose of the meeting? If you're going to drive somewhere, come to the meeting. You're supposed to listen. This is what we're talking about, this one topic.
You're not retaining.
And then you ask about that one topic that you drove so far to the meeting for the next day. As if something, like overnight, I decided on my own amongst the 5 people that I'm standing with that I'm going to do it a different day. Like, no. That's what we had the meeting for.
Is he new in this role, or?
New in the role, not as far as a company. new in the role.
So maybe it's a lot for him to manage, and
Yeah.
he may be forgetting some stuff. But I mean, that's just a suggestion. It doesn't even have to be formal. Hey Joe, just a reminder: the wall will be knocked down next week. If anything changes, I'll let you know. Don't ask me again.
But it's like, wow. And I might get another text that asks when we breaking through the wall. Just want to make sure nothing changed. And it's like, all right, I guess throughout time you'll understand, like, you don't have to do that.
You have great skin. You look pretty great tonight.
Appreciate it. You don't look half bad yourself. Physicality, I feel good. I was zapped with energy yesterday because the heat just took it out me. But today I feel good. I got some rest this morning that I needed, and I feel good. So physically, I would say a 9.
That's good. That's good. 9. That's pretty good for physicality.
Wows and woos. Let me knock on fake wood for that.
My wow.
Want me to go first? Or you go first?
You can go first, because we probably have the same wow.
Go ahead.
Our nephew, well, let's just say this. We have a lot of nieces and nephews. So when we say our first, it's my first, not his first biologically in terms of age. Nevertheless, my oldest nephew graduated high school this week, and just so excited. We always would tell him, it's like, it ain't a choice, like, you're going to graduate. But we know no matter how much your parents and loved ones and your village tells you that things happen, kids don't do what they're supposed to do, kids don't do what they're told to do. And not only that, he not just him, kids endure a lot over the last few years. And I will say this about my nephew really quickly. He graduated high school. Since he was in the 7th grade, every year of school, somebody in his school, a young black man, has been killed. So 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th
Put that
grade.
in one of my stories too, and on Facebook.
Yeah, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grade. Somebody has been killed every year. And it's I know we talk about kids being desensitized, but with him, he wasn't desensitized to the point where it just didn't matter, just didn't care. It bothered him, even to the point when, and my nephew ain't no punk, he ain't no dude in the street, but he's not a punk. But it bothered him to the point where when schools went back in person from virtual, he really didn't want to go. And part of it, I will admit, he's 17. He lazy. He didn't want to be getting up. But also, he just didn't want to be in that environment of just potentially anything happening. Because we know kids were getting killed that weren't necessarily a part of stuff. Just wrong place, wrong time, stray bullet, whatever. So all that being said, I'm so happy. Excited for him. Just, I'm still exuberant in my spirit about it, really excited and happy. I don't have any woes. That
That's like a good thing. You ain't gotta have nothing bad.
Yeah.
When you gotta search for something bad, that's a good thing. So my wow is the same exact thing. So since the last taping of the show, I didn't see my niece and my nephew graduate. My niece graduated from 8th grade. And again, we got lots of nieces and nephews, but particularly nieces and nephews that we see often. And she graduated, and I was super duper emotional. Like, she graduated from 8th grade, and it was like super duper emotional for me. Like, when they called these kids out, and they started to walk, like, soon as I seen her face, my eyes welled up. Like, what is wrong with me? And it was just a moment. Like, damn, like, it brought me back to yesterday where I experienced 8th grade graduation. So that's what it made me feel like. And seeing her teachers and her principal and the people who cared about the kids in school navigate the graduation was, the whole ceremony was just like, wow. Like, it was a bittersweet moment because it made me realize, damn, like, it made me think, do I remember my graduation like that? And did I think of it as a huge accomplishment like it was for these kids? A lot of these kids, like my niece, the people were saying they came in at 3rd grade and their book bags was bigger than them, and like, it was a big deal that they're going to high school now. And then my nephew, like that, I just keep picturing him because he was the first of my sister-in-law's kids. Like, he was a baby.
And he was always at our house.
Yeah, he spent the most time with us out of all of them, out of all her kids. And to see him, like, first off, he cut his hair, and I didn't know who the fuck he was. But
his hair was like,
he had hair to his shoulders, and then he cut it for his graduation, new chapter, whatever. But it just was like, it was like, damn, like that's something to experience. And I've never sat through a whole graduation and heard what was said and all the kind of the pageantry that goes along with it. And it was a hell of an experience. Like, I've never been involved in that because, my life just took a different turn.
One of the things, I'm sorry, I didn't want to interrupt.
So yeah, that was my wow. I don't have any woe either.
That's awesome. One of the things.
Oh no, my woe is how it made me feel afterwards. That's my woe.
One of the things I love too, he graduated from Boys Latin Charter School in Philadelphia, and it's an all boys school. I think there was one gentleman who appeared to be of some sort of Asian descent, not really sure, maybe Filipino. Other than that, all young black men, and to just hear
Black and Puerto Rican.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
some Asian, some Puerto Rican names were called.
Okay, so just to see these young men graduating from a great school, the curriculum, was a pretty vigorous curriculum. And to hear them going to Villanova University on a full ride scholarship, Drexel University, University of Pennsylvania, students majoring in chemical engineering and biology,
criminal justice.
It was just to hear how eloquently they spoke, the order and presentation of the ceremony, and how things were done in decency and order.
And the caveat is some boys spoke Latin. It's like, damn,
boys
I didn't.
Latin, you have to learn
Latin, which I was yesterday years old when I'm realizing, okay, they learning Latin. They had boys Latin, but some of their speech and ceremony was in Latin, and it took me a second to be like, the hell are they speaking? Oh, Latin. Like, it makes sense.
It was a great experience to see these young, majority black men, but all of these young men just move to that next level. And one of the things that I really love, I've never experienced this in person, but you see it on TV or videos and stuff when kids go across the stage and they do their own little, thing or whatever. Some kids dance. This one boy, I don't know if he tripped and fell. That was on purpose. He tripped and fell, and then went into push-ups.
Went into push-ups. One boy walked past and got to the middle and said, "Mom, it's about to go down."
Yes,
and got his diploma.
My nephew, he just threw up, his hands or whatever. Yeah. But it was just really great to see. I'm getting emotional again. It was just really, really great. And last thing I want to say, after that, my baby had to work and he had did a lot of driving, so he wasn't able to make it to the celebration dinner. But it was just a great time seeing family come together. His mom, and his dad, his dad's wife and his siblings from both parents. It was just really a great time of celebration and love. So shout out to my nephew. We love you.
So that's what we're talking about, graduation. As I said, watching my niece's graduation, I got super emotional because I remember experiencing 8th grade graduation. And in her school, it was like a lot. I just felt like a lot of the teachers cared about the students. And I don't remember being in school and having teachers care that much, or maybe I wasn't into it that much. And it just made me think, damn, not necessarily woe is me. Like, I love who I love who Walter is, and I love where I stand today. But it just made me think, and it made me get emotional. Like, damn, in 8th grade, did I take it that serious? That I know I was going into another chapter of high school, and should I have taken it a little bit more serious to give myself an opportunity at whatever I wanted? It was just weird to hear Maddie's her principal, he was telling the kids, you coming out of 8th grade, you going to 9th grade, and these 4 years is going to be imperishable to what you be in life, and you can be anything. And I thought to myself, I became an armed robber. I became a drug dealer. Like, that's what I became in 8th grade. That's the last graduation that I experienced. And it hurt me to my soul to be like, damn, why didn't I take it more serious? And or like, did the teachers care? I know we was like 35 kids in a classroom, and I don't know what that is today, but it just seemed like the teachers knew the kids' names and knew a lot about them, and I just don't remember having that, and that made me super emotional about her graduation. So, do you remember your graduation, 8th grade?
You know, it was a scary feeling because I typically have a really good memory about monumental occasions in life. I cannot remember 8th grade. Like I was trying to picture in my mind, and
You had a graduation though, right?
I did. So I went to Fiddler Academics Plus, and I only went
Could
there.
have just said Fiddler.
No, it's Fiddler Academics Plus. That was the name.
Could have just said FAP.
And I graduated from 8th grade, and I went there for 7th, 8th grade, and this was a school similar to Maddie's where it went from 1st to 8th grade. So a lot of the students, you know, they knew each other for all those years. When I came in 7th grade, I was like the new girl, but made a lot of friends. And you know, some people who I'm still connected to in some way, probably just through like social media. So I say that to say we graduated 8th grade. I can remember moments in school. I remember being a cheerleader. I remember certain teachers and classes and certain events. I cannot remember 8th grade graduation. And I've been thinking about this since Maddie's graduation. It's weird. I have no recollection. I'm trying to remember where the heck was it? Because I have no recollection of 8th grade graduation. I remember 5th grade graduation from Richard R. Wright Elementary School.
I was ready to say, I remember 4th grade graduation from Whittier Elementary School more than I remember 8th grade. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I remember being into school and doing well in 7th grade. And I remember the summer of going back to 8th grade where I was okay in school, but I wasn't into it. And it wasn't nothing that happened over the summer, or maybe I was pulled into the streets a little more or whatever, but I don't remember it being no mommy issue, no daddy issue or anything like that. But I remember being kicked out of Rhodes and being sent to Fitzsimons, and it was like, you know, the whole neighborhood's here, this is school I want to go to, but I don't remember like the part I'm talking about is being in a cap and gown, standing up there, listening to the teachers and all that stuff. I do not remember that at all.
I don't either.
I have zero memory of that.
I remember my high school graduation, and I still feel a little bit bitter about it because...
How was it?
So this is the thing. Girls High, you know, I graduated from the Philadelphia High School for Girls, the illustrious Philadelphia High School for Girls. I was the 242nd graduating class, the class of 1998. So Girls High had, and it has changed again, but up until that point, they were notorious. They don't wear cap and gown. You wear white dresses. You get a red carnation, and the graduation had always been at the Academy of Music. Well, 1998, they decided to try something a little different. Temple University opened the Leah Chorus Center. They decided to have it there.
When it was new, it was okay.
No, it wasn't okay because it's concrete. That place should be used for like basketball games. It's
Basketball games suck there.
Okay, well, they should use it for something else. It's concrete everywhere, and not only that, the Universal Circus had just left like that weekend or something before graduation.
So it smelled like animals.
Elephants when we walked in. It's like it smells like elephants. And then not only that, it's huge. You think about like the Leah Chorus Center. If you're not familiar, I know we have some international subscribers.
Like 11,000 seats.
So yeah, they have concerts and shows and things there. So of course, what they did was that where they put the stage, they kind of put the like seats that were the immediate outside. So the looking back, the whole back was empty, but practically half of the stadium, I mean, I don't know if that's considered a stadium, but the venue was empty. So it just didn't give that same illustrious feel. Now, and today, I think now they have it at the Kimmel Center. I've never been to, no, I have been to the Kimmel Center once.
We went.
And it's different theaters.
We saw a show there.
Oh, we did.
Recently.
Yes.
Within the last 2 years.
We took to Madison to see Alvin Ailey. Right. So I forgot about that. So, there's different rooms within there. And so I don't know which room they have this show. Nevertheless, I'm sure the experience is better at the Kimmel Center, or it's probably akin to how it was at the Academy of Music, but it damn sure ain't like the Leah Chorus Center. So I feel like they owe us another graduation, maybe for our 25th anniversary.
So what was your mindset like at 12th grade graduation? Like, was it? So another question is, do you know what you wanted to be in 8th grade?
Yeah, all of my life, and I think
a veterinarian.
No, you don't know that about me.
I thought you said a vet before.
I wanted to be a trauma surgeon.
Oh yeah, that I knew, but I thought it was a vet first.
No.
Okay.
I used to just say I wanted to be a doctor, and then when I was like 11 or so, I was in a gallery with my grandpa. This was right before 6th grade. He took us to buy sneakers. I got the new Filas with the strap around the ankle, and he had a seizure in the gallery while we were there with him. So that made me want to be like a neurological trauma surgeon to figure out what happens to the brain. So that was my goal.
In 8th grade, and 4 years later in 12th grade, did you still have that feeling that I want to be this as you were graduating? Because what I'm getting at is the teachers were talking, like, I've never heard that. I didn't walk the stage and stand up there with cap and gown. So to hear them tell my nephew, like, by the state of Pennsylvania, you are considered almost like competent to educated enough to go out, like the state says you've been educated and you can go out into society and people, and we feel like you will be a decent member of society if you make the right choices.
The diploma, yeah, it's a legal document.
Right. So what I'm saying is, like, did you still feel like optimistic in 12th grade as you did in 8th grade before you entered high school? Like, after the 4 years were done, was it like, obviously you knew you were going to college, but it was like, did you have the motivation, like, I'm about to do this, because you hadn't seen college yet, so you didn't know what it was like?
Yes and no. It was a little different for me because I felt a little bummed because I couldn't go away to school, which I really wanted to. And I went to Drexel University. And, for those from Philly, I lived in North Philly, Drexel's in West Philly. And so I hated the fact that I wasn't able to go away, and I wasn't even allowed to stay on campus. Right. So while I had the motivation to do it because I just felt like you don't have no choice, I wanted to do it, I think it was like the balance. Like college, yeah, I'm excited, but life is life, and I'm still excited. Life is life, and I'm still excited. Life is life, and then life just lifed me out.
Well, if you would have went away to school, would you think you would have kept the motivation, or you think you would have fell victim to kind of the same thing you fell victim to not being at school?
I don't know.
Life, I'm saying, life like being away, having to earn your own money, not having like you got to get a job, a part-time job maybe to earn money.
But I think it would have been different in the sense that
parties, that kind of shit.
Right, but I always feel like, and I can be wrong, for y'all who have gone away to college and were successful at completing your degree, let me know if I'm wrong, but I always felt like being in that environment, if you are with the right people, the right friends, the right people to influence you, that you can be successful. You can still party and you can still have fun. But if your friends is like girl, like we going to class, like yeah, we here to have fun, but we also here to get our education. I think birds of a feather flock together. So now if you had that group of friends that's like, shh, don't really care, and they're probably going to drop out, you may be one of them as well. So, I think I would have been more successful being in that environment. For me, going to college, not only was it hard, I didn't have the support. Like, I would go home and I'm by myself. And, the few people that I met on campus, we were classmates, and we probably had quite a few classes together. When they would be getting together for study sessions and stuff, like, oh, we gonna meet in the hall, whatever hall, at 8:30 after we eat or whatever. Well, I'm home. I can't participate in that kind of stuff. So that's why the experience for me, it was very lonely. Like, never in a million years did I feel like being in the city of Philadelphia that I was born and raised in all my life, that I would feel lonely, because like being on campus is like, okay, yeah, I'm from here, but now I'm in this environment with tens of thousands of people, and I don't know nobody.
They all from different walks of life. They all from different places. They not from Philly, majority
Exactly.
of them.
And I mean, while yes, you can meet somebody, like I wasn't really there to like meet a whole bunch of but it just.
But you are though. You are to expand your life and growth at that moment
Yes.
in time in your life. Go to college, meet people, get educated.
I
It's
was
supposed
open
to
to
be the
the
goal.
to that happening, but it wasn't like I'm going out like, hey, I'm Natasha and I need a friend. Like, that's
No,
just
not like that. But
yeah.
how else are you going to meet those people who will be like, you going to the party tonight and we're going to be up till 3 in the morning? No, we're going to class.
Well,
Like, how else are you going to
again,
meet
through
those
that
girls?
shit. So I was meeting people, but now I got to go home and they on campus.
Right.
So it just was a divide. So I remember, but I do remember after high school graduation, I was excited, going to enjoy the summer. I got really sad around like August, I remember, because again, most of my friends were going away to school. One thing about Drexel, they don't work in semesters, they work in trimesters. So they start a little later and finish a little later. So I think I didn't start school until like end of August, where most people were leaving for school like end of July, beginning of August. So it was that period of time where it was like, wow, all my friends like from high school, like they going, like, I mean, I didn't have a whole bunch, but the people who I was really friends with, they gone, like they left.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm waiting for my turn to start school, but I'm coming home every day on the damn 39.
Have you ever had a teacher who cared for you in school?
I did. When you started talking about that, it made me think about different teachers. I feel like male, I do remember some female teachers. I feel like male teachers that I had, they probably cared the most. And I can remember my 8th grade teacher, Mr. Joftis, rest in peace. He died at a basketball game with the kids like some years later. So yeah, and Mr. Joftis was great. I remember Mr. Oglesby. He was the African American history teacher at Girls High. He also passed away. But I never had that relationship with teachers that I see other people have, where like they build a connection.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my own personal thing. Like, I didn't really connect to any other adults like that bond that people create with male and or female teachers. I could kind of tell those who cared, and especially thinking back.
So you didn't let them care as much?
Yeah, like
Just
no matter what was going on,
it was nice, and then that's enough.
Yeah, it was like, I'm coming here to do my work and I'm going home. I wasn't like the type to, like, you wouldn't catch me like crying on their shoulder, telling them about, family stuff that was going on at home. I just never had that bond with any human. Like, I'm not any human, any adult.
Wow.
So,
yeah, that shit.
Not
any human. She's a fucking...
Not any human, but any
Neanderthal.
adult. But I do remember there were definitely teachers that you could tell cared a little more
That's
than
why
others.
Your name backwards is Satan.
No. What about you? Do you recall? Okay, so you did say you don't remember 8th grade graduation, but you do remember 4th grade graduation.
I don't remember any teachers that kind of took personal exception to me. Like, I remember Dr. Ryan, and because I got suspended a lot, and he would tell me, you're young, you black, this is, you can't be doing this shit, and you need to get your act together. But that was only when I was in trouble. It wasn't like he just was, when I was walking down the hall, he wanted to talk to me. He only wanted to do discipline. And so it was that kind of thing. Miss Beasley is a teacher I remember, but I liked her butt. Like, it wasn't like a thing where I really think she cared about. Like, she cared about the students, but not me. She cared about all of us. So it's not like I can say she cared about me individually. But no, and again, I don't know if teachers care more now, or again, I just wasn't in tune to even catch that type of signal. Like, I think you smart, I think you better than what you're doing, you know, that kind of thing. Stay after school, and not necessarily talk about your problems, but just talk about what you feeling, like why you act out in class, or why you do this, or why you do that. Like, it seemed like to me, watching these kids graduate, and these teachers knew them.
What I will say, just to be fair to the teachers of our day compared to the teachers that both our niece and nephew graduate, the schools they graduated from, they both graduated from charter schools, which are pretty good charter schools. So we know the environment is different, the structure is different, less classrooms, a smaller classroom size.
Well, last graduating class was what, 40?
If that,
45 people.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy.
And not only that, you think the teachers probably have more support from their leadership compared to teachers at Fitzsimons who, like you said, it's 35 people in the class. They just want to make it home safe.
20 of them don't want to give it, ain't trying to hear jack shit you're saying. 5 of them want to learn, and the other 10 is trying to figure out which way they want to go.
Right. So I think that's where, the some disconnect may be. Those teachers did have a more difficult time. Charter schools were not a thing at the time. So yeah, I think to your point, that may be why some teachers were disconnected. I do remember when I went to Fitzsimons, my 6th grade teacher, Miss Cruz. We had some classes with Miss Eel, some classes with Miss Cruz, but Miss Cruz was my advisor. And I remember I had took a test to go to Germantown Friends private school, took a scholarship test. And while I passed and was offered the scholarship, they wanted me to repeat 6th grade because they felt like coming from public school, you may not quite be ready. And my mom gave me the choice, and I just felt like, no, give me the chance. Like, don't just automatically hold me back. Like, I'll be able to hold my own. And I do remember Miss Cruz telling my mom, like, get her out of here. Like, make sure she goes to that school. Get her out of here. Put her in a better environment. Again, my mom gave me the choice, and I did end up going there, but I did end up leaving and going to Fittler. So, I remember little things like that. So it wasn't like a personal connection, but I think, teachers showed that they care in their own way.
Did you feel educated graduating 12th grade? Like, did you feel like I did what they asked me to do? Like, I did my part, or they taught me something? Did you feel like smart? Like, did you feel like they taught me something? Like, they made me go to school for all these fucking years. I know some stuff.
I remember being in math class and it being I used to have this class called TAP, Trigonometry, Analytical Geometry, and Probability. And I thought it was pretty difficult, but I knew my work. Like, I did great in the class. So that, so learning certain things, I felt good. I loved chemistry. I hated physics, but I did well at those. So I think going through the process, I was proud of myself for being able to grasp what was being taught. I hated reading. Like, even then, I hated reading. I know how to read, but I liked English in the sense of grammar and writing. But even that was a little iffy because I wanted to write what I wanted to write about. But I hated the literature part.
Read these 2 pages and then answer these 6 questions.
Oh no, read this book like Jane Eyre or something. I don't care about her.
Little Women.
Yeah, exactly. So those
1,500 pages.
Like, it's Shakespeare. And I love, at the end when I think about the stories, I love the stories. I just hated the process of going through them. So I say all that to say I did it because I had to. I didn't realize, that and everybody in the environment is learning the same thing. So I didn't realize until after the fact when you look back and think, like, I did get a good education.
At ninth grade, I left school in 10th grade, so I don't think I felt like I was being taught. Plus the streets, but I felt like school was so boring. Like I hated, and I think I hated Mr. Cooper, language arts class, social studies, whatever.
That's what I love, language arts.
Because, yeah, social studies, because all we talked about was Mesopotamia. And I loathe Mesopotamia, the land, the area. I just loathe it because every fucking day it was test and talk about Mesopotamia. And it was like, where the fuck is this place? So I never felt like I was being taught anything of substance, other than reading and counting and shit like that,
right.
Like stuff that I was using. But where am I talking about Mesopotamia at, bro? Like, I don't understand.
You know, it was certain stuff that, like, American history was another class, and I remember this teacher, and I cannot think of his name, Mr. McCormick. I don't know. He had red hair. I can't think of his name. Anyway, he was really, really difficult. And, but I did great in his class, so that, you know, made me feel good. But, you know, when it comes to history, he's a history buff in the sense of, like, people and things. I like history in the sense of geography. So, you know, Mesopotamia, that's interesting to me. I want to learn about different areas, different lands. You asked me about the presidents.
It's fucking Iraq now, but whatever.
You asked me about the presidents, and I don't want to have
that. Now, see, that I understand. I like
it's not
that.
even under. I don't have my memory. Like I don't need to know who was the 17th president for what. Why do I need to know that today in 2022?
Why do you need to know where Mesopotamia is and the people of Mesopotamia and what they was doing back in 1812?
Because what the people were doing at that time, that is what brought us to where we are now.
Mesopotamia? I doubt it. I doubt it. But whatever. How many friends did you go through 12th grade year with? Just ballpark. Like, it could be, like, I only had 3, I only had 5. I talked to 6 people. Like, what?
I mean, I had probably a pretty big friend circle.
Dozen?
Yeah, I would say maybe 10 friends.
All right, say a dozen. How many of them are you in touch with today? Of the class you graduated with? So
in touch with, that's subjective. What do you mean, like text and talk, yeah. Or like social media?
1 text and talk.
2
social media.
Probably still that same 10, like that a dozen or so. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I'm not in touch with anybody that I went to school with. Just not. Not the last question. Has anyone, you graduated 1998?
Yes.
In the class 246.
242.
242. So not to be grim, but has anybody died?
Yes. I don't know, probably within the last year, maybe 2, there was a young lady. She was of Indian descent. I want to say her name was Mary.
Graduated 242.
But it might have been Bessie. One of those names.
Wow, that's a difference. But go ahead.
Well, it was a very American name, but she was Indian. Nevertheless, and I don't know any details about it, but she did pass away. I seen somebody posted.
I was ready to say, what do you get, like an email or something?
No, well, I am a part of the Alumni Association Facebook group for Girls High, which is like all of the alumni from all years. And then we also have a group for our class. So somebody posted it. Like, and again, I don't know any details behind it. I do remember though, when I saw it, I remembered her. Like when we used to have like different assemblies and stuff, she would do stuff like that represented her culture. So she's the only person that I know of. So I'm not trying to disregard anyone else, but that's the only person I can think of. Yeah.
How serious did you take your education?
It was
10.
Probably. It depends. You mean in high school? Because yeah. Okay. So by the time I graduated, probably 7.
Almost like I'm saying when it was like your responsibility.
Probably 7 by the time I graduated, because it was at that point, it was like, I know I have to graduate, but I didn't do my best. Right. I know that I didn't do my best. That I know I didn't do the best that I could have done. So it was like, I just got to make it out of here because I don't have a choice. One, I'm like, I need to graduate. I don't want to be embarrassed. I don't want my family to be embarrassed. But yeah.
I didn't take it that serious either. Like I said, I was good in school up until like the 7th grade. And I remember the summer coming back to 8th grade, I just wasn't feeling school.
No, I didn't feel like that early.
And then, I mean, I still graduated 8th grade.
Right.
I still went to high school, 9th and 10th grade. By that time, it was like, I'm just showing up to advisory. And then it was like, I'm getting rides to school from my mom and being back on the corner before she get back home. Like jumping on the 33 and being right back home.
What could a teacher or the school, like, what could anyone have done to make you care more?
Probably just saw me, cared. I kind of not related, but envied that when I saw our nieces and nephews graduate, and it was like, damn, like, did I miss that on my own, or was it just like the teachers didn't do that? And I felt like upset with myself because it was like, damn, why wasn't you more into your education? But my environment was what it was, and I made the choices I made. And again, this isn't a woe is me thing, but it was like, damn, what if I had the opportunity? What if I had the teacher who pulled me aside and was like, yo, you're getting the fuck away from these kids. You don't, or like they told you, Miss Cruz said to you, get her out of here. Like, it wasn't a teacher who said, like, told my mom, get him out of here. Like, he don't need to be here. He should be in a school. And this is back when you could use your address wherever the fuck you wanted to.
So do you think, and I know that you weren't, because when you say 8th grade, like,
I was different addresses, I'm saying.
I was still motivated. Like, when I say probably was a 7, that was by 12th grade. I was still motivated 8th, 9th, probably still 10th grade. But do you feel like, and I know you were never a person that was like a follower, you kind of did your own thing, but you made a good point. Do you think if you went to school, am I boring you?
No.
Do you think if you went to school in an environment where the students were more eager to learn, that would have challenged you? You wouldn't have wanted to be like the eyeball out, being a failure in this environment, or because you were surrounded by so many other people who were dropping out and not putting forth their, it was like,
I think the
it ain't a
bad
big
outweighed
deal.
the good. I think it was a lot of peer pressure. Not that I ever was a follower, but a lot of peer pressure. That's a real thing when you're, young, 14, 15 years old. And there was kids in my class who did really well. I remember being in Lee Park, a building that I worked in for 20 years. And this girl, Michelle Davis, came out the bathroom. And it was like, Michelle? And she was like, Walter? And this is when I wasn't Walter. And it was like, wow, like, this is somebody I went to school with. And she was a nerd. And she was like, hey, how you doing? Ba, 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 ba. And I got 3 kids now. And then. And it was like, yeah, I'm do construction and I'm working. I'm doing your space. And it was like, I've never ran into anybody that I went to school with that young. And it was just like, wow, this is what this feels like. Huh? Like, this is pretty cool.
Was it just like proof, like, I was there back then?
Like, I was there. And then when she called my name, it was like, wow, this is what she remembers me as in school.
Right.
And, it was just weird. She was like, yeah, I'm married. I got 3 kids. And I work
all right,
at
Michelle,
this place.
nobody asked you all that.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. All right, that's it about the graduation. But shout out to my niece and nephew. Super proud of y'all. You made your uncle feel emotional, but proud at the same time to see y'all go from little people to, semi-big people. And it's just, I just can't wait to see what y'all do. Like, I think y'all super smart. And this, like your aunt said, the sky is not the limit for either one of y'all. And as y'all get older, whoever y'all need to call, aunts, uncles, whatever, like, obviously we'll be there for you. So, just keep doing what y'all doing, keep being who y'all are, and make good choices. And shout out to y'all. Love y'all.
Can we say this episode is dedicated to them?
Sure.
This episode is dedicated to Madison, my Gigi Bear, and Walair, my Dink.
Yes. Shouts out to y'all. What have you learned?
So I learned some ways, people, to help you make the
You've been waiting to
best
get this
out
out.
of your gas. So here's a couple tips
Where
I
you
learned.
learn this from, though?
I learned this from somebody who works at the oil plant, the gas plant, the fuel plant. So this
The
was
fuel plant.
yeah, where they get the gas.
Who worked there?
I'll tell you about it in a second. Just
Oh.
wait, okay?
I thought I told you. I don't work at no fucking fuel plant.
No, you didn't tell me this. I learned more tips than what you told me, okay?
All right.
It was something that you said too, though. So get your gas early in the morning when the ground. I said it is some tips that you said, but not all of them. Get your gas, but this person who worked at the fuel plant, that he co-signed what you said.
He?
Just listen. All right, I don't know the person. Somebody reposted it. I have no idea who the man is. It might be fake. I don't know, but I'm gonna tell y'all because it sound good. Get your gas early in the morning when the ground is still cold, okay? Because when the ground heats up, that changes the density of the gas and you get less bang for your buck. So when the ground is cold, the gas is more dense, it's heavier, you get more gas, okay? Also, you know, on the gas pump where it has, like, when you squeeze the nozzle, it's like 1, 2, 3, like you can go slow, medium, fast. Do not put it on fast. And this is tricky for us because we live in New Jersey where they pump the gas for you, and you know, they set the thing and they walk away to do other people and they put it on the fastest pump. We got to find a way to tell them not to do that, because what happens, the faster it pumps, the gas builds up vapors, and the vapor fills your it takes up space. So essentially it's still pumping, but you're getting less gas for your money. So if you're pumping the gas yourself, it may take a couple seconds longer, but put it on the slowest mode possible. Also, and this happened to me yesterday, but I'm like, what choice do I have? I needed gas. If you see the gas trucks there filling up the gas tanks there, that's not a good time to get gas, because what happens once they do it, you know, the gas got to mix up and do all that and the sediment falls to the bottom. Well, if you're getting gas while it's filling up, there's a possibility you may get a little bit of that sediment in your tank. Mm-hmm. So it's a great idea if you don't get gas at the time that they are filling up.
But that's why cars have fuel filters. But I would suggest you not do that.
Yep. So those are some tips for you. I thought it was one more, but never. And I know this may be hard for some people, but actually, it really isn't. And I'm going to say this. Don't, and I used to follow this rule. I told my sisters this for years when they started driving. Try your best not to let your tank go to E. You get more bang for your buck when you fill it up from the halfway mark to full. Because the same thing, once your tank gets empty, the vapors and all that kind of stuff, you get less gas. You get less gas when it's filling up if your tank, the emptier your tank is. So the best way is to just always, you know, when you get to like a halfway mark, fill it up. Halfway mark, fill it up. When you let it go all the way to E and then fill it up, you're spending more money.
Okay, we got
those are
gas
some tips
tips
for you.
from
That's
the
what I
co-hostess with the
learned.
mostest.
I hope that helps y'all, because gas is ridiculous.
It is. I've learned there's a difference now between Airbnbs and hotels. And we go places and we try to stay in the best 5-star hotels. That's just what we want in our lives and what we strive for to go places. But they have really nice Airbnbs places too. And I've learned that people would rather stay in hotels now that Airbnbs are a few years old, because Airbnbs now come with curfews, quiet hours, and chore lists. Person put on social media that they was at an Airbnb, a few of them this year, and they actually had curfew time, asked the people to take out their trash, do dishes, and water the plants.
I mean, that's okay. So
you're paying $3,500, say, a week for this place, a lavish place, pool and all this shit, and you know you gotta wash your own dishes, which I don't think's a big deal if you using their dishes. I would just bring paper plates, but take out your own trash and water their plants.
So watering the plants, I've never experienced that, but we have experienced. So we used to rent vacation homes when we would go on vacation. So I mean, we would find really nice houses, like a house that, okay, well, we want to live here, yeah, and it may be nicer than our house at home. But we would do that because, one, it gives you the comfortability of not. I hate being stuck If we're just going somewhere for a weekend, that's one thing. If we're somewhere for a week, I do not want to be stuck in a hotel room. It has to be a suite. Like, if I don't want to go outside, I don't want to only have this bed as an option. I need a living room area, hopefully a balcony. So again, we would always rent vacation homes. In doing that, yeah, we would cook. You gotta wash the dishes. You accumulate trash over a week. It would be nice that you take out the trash. Now, so we've been in places that have suggested or asked, and we have come into places where it would say, like, really what we would do is fill up the dishwasher on your way out. So the next family, the dishes are clean, just like they were clean when you got there. So that's not unreasonable expectations. But what I will say...
So if a place didn't have a dishwasher, would it bother you then?
No, if I'm using the dishes, y'all would expect me to wash them.
Okay.
But what I will say too, I've seen some commentary about Airbnbs, and it said, like, since when did the world trick us into the thought that going on vacation and cooking for ourselves and, you know, washing dishes and making our own bed is a vacation? No, I want to be somewhere where I ain't cooking nothing. Now, we didn't have many options before. I mean, we could have stayed at hotels before, but our vacations were nice, but they were road trips. They were on the beach, and we just always rented nice beach houses. But now, yeah, I'm over the Airbnb life. And not only that, I feel like it's so sketchy now with people putting cameras and people putting cameras and stuff in these properties.
And having an Airbnb in Colombia and Mexico and places like that where they're super duper nice, but you so fucking secluded, you never know who. And it's people that got robbed, home invasions, like all that stuff is set up. So yeah,
it's a shame you got to think about stuff like that. But this world, and don't get me wrong. Hotels can do sketchy stuff too. You don't know if you're in a hotel room and they got hidden cameras. But at this point, I don't care.
Okay, that's what I learned. 3 grams, and we got 3. We never talked about this before, but Brittany Griner was detained February 17th for having hash oil vape cartridges in her bag, and she was charged with large-scale transportation of drugs, which could face up to 10 years in Russia. And today she went for a release, and they extended her stay 18 more days. So just what was your thoughts on her, the Ukraine war, them not letting her go? Do you think it's just that simple as the laws are different over there and that kind of shit carries that kind of time? Or the war on Ukraine is the reason why they're holding her, like, as leverage against the United States not to get involved?
I do think that there is like some what we call it, like ball slinging, and from a man like wanting to show whose balls are bigger. Because my thing is this: yes, in other countries laws are different. I don't know if y'all ever watched Locked Up Abroad. If not, it's a great show. I don't know if they have new ones, but laws are different. It is what it is. So if that's their law, fine. But the fact that she doesn't have a set sentence, like 18 more days. What I've done 4 months, so
yeah, she's done 100 and something days, over 100 days.
So 18 more days for what? Like to prove to you what exactly? If why wasn't my sentence 100 days, 180 days, a year, 2 years? Like this, just give us 18 more days. It just seems so wishy-washy. Like they're just doing this to, my balls are bigger than yours, and we can do what we want. She's an American, we're Russians, and that's how it feels. And it's a sad situation. And I think what some people may not know, maybe y'all do, it wasn't like she was just visiting Russia. Like she
was over there a dozen times that year before she was.
She plays basketball there, so she has gone back and forth. So it's not like she's a stranger to them. Like she was just a visitor traveling through that got caught up in something. I think the timing that this happened. The sad part is, and no disrespect to her, she's a star in her own right. The WNBA we know isn't as big as the NBA. The crazy thing is the Russians probably are misinformed, thinking that her stature is bigger than what it is. That, a lot of people here in the in the US probably don't even know WNBA players. So that, it's like she got caught up in that bureaucracy and political shenanigans just because of the timing of her travel, I think.
But I also think along these lines that the U.S. and the NBA and the WNBA should go get her, and I don't know what that looks like, but you're not. I'm indulged in sports, especially basketball and football, and you're not going to sit here and tell me this is what makes it hard for a woman, even though and a gay woman at that. LeBron James ain't sitting in jail for 120 days if he got caught with hash oil in Russia. They going to go get him. Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Kyrie Irving, these dudes ain't sitting in jail. And I don't know if their stature and the money that they generate is why they wouldn't sit there. Well, I know that's why, because the asses that they put in the seats, the money that they generate, the jerseys that they sell, the tickets, all that shit counts. And the WNBA doesn't bring that much revenue in, so they're not backing it as they should. But I know for a fact if LeBron James got caught with hashish oil in Russia, he ain't sitting in no Russian jail for 120 days.
But what do you think the options would be if they say this is our law, he broke the law, and he stays in jail?
That's your best Russian
accent?
That's my
best Russian accent.
You sound like Natasha.
Natasha.
I don't know what it looks like, but I think a team of lawyers would be over there, like on a jet, quick, fast, and in a hurry. You are going to get this $1 billion machine out of your prison. He is not sitting in here for 120 something days.
I hear what you're saying,
and that's just how I see like the landscape of sports. The WNBA might generate $40 million a year in revenue. The NBA might generate $4 billion.
I hear what you're saying, and I do 1,000% agree that it's different when it's a man. It's different when you're talking about somebody who is a commodity. Like LeBron James is a commodity to the NBA, even to the U.S., just the money that's generated because the taxes. He's a commodity. Where someone of a lesser stature in that arena of entertainment, it doesn't hold the same weight. But I do still feel like, I mean, again, we've seen Locked Up Abroad, and some of these places you go is no mercy. So I hear what you're saying, and they may try, but that they may, for LeBron James, it may be worse.
Locked up for hashish oil though.
But you got to think too, if they're really doing this to prove a point, it may be worse for him. Do you
really think though, like and you're not even like in the sports like that, but do you think we'd be sitting here having a conversation that LeBron James has been locked up for 120 days in Afghanistan or Russia because he got caught with a vape pen?
I think we possibly could be, but I also think that we wouldn't just hear sporadic updates like we're hearing about Brittany Griner. Exactly. It would be like breaking news every day.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm thinking teams of lawyers. I'm thinking Joe Biden would be saying shit about this. I'm thinking the vice president would come from under a rock and be saying shit about this. Everybody would be saying on the news, why is LeBron James still in jail?
But you got to think, for someone who appears to be a tyrant in the way that Putin is described, that may fuel his fire. And he'd be like, yeah, I got him.
Second gram. Talked about last week, YSL case. I've been following this because this is interesting. We're going to talk about this more as the shows go on here and there. But do you think that rap lyrics should be used in court cases? And answer it yes or no first and then explain.
I'm going to say yes.
Go ahead.
You can't have you can't have duality in the image that you put forward.
Okay.
And I say that because you want everybody to believe you this hardcore gangster. You want everybody to believe you gonna ride for your family and your friends. You want everybody to believe you gonna mow down the whole block if it comes to somebody crossing you or one of your boys. You want everybody to believe that your music ain't just music. You about it. This the life that you live. So guess what? When crime happens, you wanted everybody to believe it, and now they believe it. Now you want to be like, no, that's just music. I'm not really about that life. So you got to think about the brand that you are your own brand, and the brand that you create gives a message about you. That's like if you sitting here smoking weed every episode, and let's just say weed is legal, but let's just say it's not, and then God forbid something happens and the cops like, oh well, you're guilty of smoking weed. You like, no, that's fake weed on the show. I don't really smoke weed. I don't want you to believe that about me. I'm not about that marijuana life. And it's like,
well, CBD.
So there can't, you want everybody to believe you so hardcore, you so gangster. Yeah, you could be a family man too, so there can be some duality in that. Like, you can be this and that, but you can't want everybody to believe you're this and that, and then when you get in trouble for this, you're saying, oh no, I'm only that. So you can't have it both ways. You have to be aware of the image, of the persona, of the brand that you build around yourself. And I will say, people making this comparison to, you're not going to use a movie line against an actor, if they commit a crime. An actor that's not the image they're reading a script. Now, unless the rappers want to be honest and say, look, this just music. I'm just making music. I ain't really toting all these guns. I ain't really sell 17 keys, from Pablo Escobar back in the day. Then tell us that it's a lie.
Aerosmith has songs. I agree. Hold on, let me say. I don't agree with your reason for using rap lyrics in a court case, but I do think that they should under these circumstances. You can have duality. Aerosmith has songs about shooting and killing a man. Bohemian Rhapsody song that I like, the beginning line is, I put a gun against a man's head and pulled the trigger. So freedom of speech is one thing. You should be able to say whatever you want in a song. Like, if I come on the block, I'm gonna bang on you niggas. There's nothing wrong with saying that. What's wrong with the rap lyrics that's used today is that these guys are name dropping the people that died in these lyrics. Mm-hmm. That kind of lyric, it should be used, because if Brian got smoked and got shot 12 times and you have a line in your song that says drop B, hit him a dozen times, that's kind of,
you told him yourself.
Yeah, that's germane to what the court is talking about. Now, they can't take a broad line where you just say, yeah, if I'm getting fucked with, I kill everybody. Like, no, right. You can't just take that line and say because he said I kill everybody, he killed Brian. But if he name drops and says I smoke Brian like my ops, and like that kind of lyric can be used in the court. But just saying shit or having an image, there is duality. It can be duality, but you can't specifically, and it didn't used to be that way. Things used to be symbolic in rap songs in the 90s. The drill rappers today want you to know that I killed Lil Tay Tay or killed Lil Boo Boo, and they'll put Lil Boo Boo's name in a song where these are his enemies.
Well, part of the issue too is that rappers in the 90s, they were trying to get out of that life. So when Jay-Z was rapping about the stuff that he did and the drugs that he sold, he really did it.
Right.
But he wasn't trying to live that life anymore.
And
the rappers today, they're rapping about this gang stuff, and they're still like, yeah, and I still rep the set. I'm still on the block. I still do this. So again, you want us, and I agree. If you say something very general, broad, and they can't be like, oh, well, because you say you would shoot down the block, this one guy got killed, and then we think you do it. So no, I don't mean anything you say, they can apply it. But you have to, depending, I know like for these RICO charges and being conspirators and crimes and things of that nature, or you being the leader and you sending out your people to kill the ops, almost like you are conspiring, you're ordering, you're putting hits on people. And so it's you just have to be aware of what you say. And we have to, not we, because we ain't rappers, but people have to remember, ain't nothing changed about rap music except for the fact that it's more people doing it. White people, no matter how many of them think they're down, think they're cool, think they like these artists, I don't care how best friends Michael Rubin is with Meek Mill, you have a large group of white people that misinterpret.
They're the biggest consumers
for but they misinterpret
Right.
rap music and they think, oh, it's gangster music, oh, it's killer music. So when something happens, you're a rapper, you already have a label on you like, oh, he's one of those rappers.
But it has to be some duality, because you're expressing yourself, it's your art, and what do you say to the person who really lived it? You want them to lie? Like, you got rappers up here who say they did this and say they did that and lying and all this stuff, and that's cool. But if you're trying to be yourself and trying to be real, and this is the previous life I have, and this is what I had to talk about, and I really did this stuff, then I can't get up here and lie. My lyrics will indicate this is where I come from, and this is what I did, and this is what I went through. That's my true story, me being authentic. It happens to be graphic, it happens to be violent, but this is my art, and I should be able to express that. Where I draw the line at is the name dropping.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one, you're right. If you did that, and you talk about what you did, that life you lived, but hopefully now you're trying to live a different life. And hopefully you also know, like my boy Lil Wayne said, real G's move in silence. Like you shouldn't be talking about Lil B and you know shooting him up a dozen times. Like that shouldn't even be part. You shouldn't be telling on yourself. Like that just shouldn't be part of it. So if you really about that life, you keep it to yourself.
Like the word,
talking.
I missed that. Like the word though. Real G's move in silence. On the anniversary of the 30-year anniversary of Martin, which was my favorite show growing up, like part of my childhood, saw every episode. What was your favorite Martin episode?
He tried it. He tried it, because I will tell y'all this. Well, let me just say,
because you like Martin.
Growing up, I loved Martin just like everybody.
Pain.
I love Martin just like everybody else. You know, I watched it every week. Today, if I never saw another episode of Martin again, I would be perfectly fine. Because,
really?
Yes,
wow.
The overacting just doesn't do it. Mama Pain, that karate chopping man.
Otis.
I was about to say, don't you know no good? Don't you know no good? So I did like even Shanae was too much sometimes.
For real?
I don't like all that.
Wow.
I don't like all that. But I will say this: it wasn't so. I can't think. I did.
Little Roscoe.
Right, so that's what I was about to say. It was certain characters. I liked Otis. I liked Roscoe. Like, so I like Bruh Man. I mean,
right.
He wasn't Martin, but so I like certain times when certain characters show up. If I had to name any, it would probably be when Brian McKnight sang at their wedding.
Okay. So my favorite episode was the puppy, when they went to Gilligan's Island and him and Pam fought the puppy. And that was
wrestling that thing. So stupid.
That was like the best episode out of all the Martins.
I can't take it.
Let's do a wrap. Act 2 the podcast, episode 75, wrapping up. It's your boy,
That's
International
a quarter
Wall.
of 100. 3/4 of 100.
Yeah, 25 more, reach a bean.
How do you say 75 in Spanish?
75. 75. And for all y'all who wondering why my wife sound like a horse, it's because she was hollering yesterday at our kids' graduation. So
but he likes
just want to address that. Because people will be like, damn, what'd he do, choke her? Like, nah, I didn't choke her.
I don't think I ever been choked.
No, I never choked her.
I mean, well, you know.
I joked you? No, I never choked you. A little bit.
If I asked you to choke me.
Yeah, that's what they say, a little bit.
Yeah.
In a nice way. But yeah, Act 2 the podcast, episode 75. It's a wrap. It's your boy, International Walt.
It's your girl, Tosh. The co-hostess with the mostest. Oh, well, it wasn't the time for me to say who I was?
Yeah.
I
was just wondering, like, where was you going? You seemed like you blanked out for a minute.
I was finishing my water.
Episode 75. It'll be up soon. Go check it out. Questions
It
is up. Questions we're gonna have.
Yes.
We might have, if whatever. But what do y'all remember about your graduation? Did you feel educated when you left school? Did y'all have any kids this year that graduated 8th grade or high school? What did it feel like to y'all? Maybe the question will be up. You never know. If you fuck with us, you fuck with us. If you don't, you should. Peace.
You didn't. You messed that all up.